Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another weather forecast here by Adrian Weather Forecast. This will be another look into the potential for another severe weather outbreak in parts of the South Central and maybe including parts of the Ozarks. We're going to be getting in great detail. We have a lot more updates here. Going to be looking at Cape values, going to be looking at the new radars, and also into SPC Outlook with all the major updates. But if you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Also, be sure to share the channel. But without further ado, let's get in this video. So here we are looking at the day 3 outlook here. So this is it's not incredibly close from now. So we're going to be seeing multiple more updates on this. So it's very likely this will obviously change a little bit. But as of right now, we have a slight risk as our highest risk as of right now, a level 2. And that's going to be for much of parts of eastern Kansas, mostly southeastern Kansas, much of Missouri, parts of northern Arkansas, and much of also northeastern Oklahoma. So that's going to be our area of focus as of right now. This will probably have the best chance if Cape does break and bring very strong, long-lasting severe weather. That will be the best risk for very strong cap. Also, very high Cape values will also be in those areas. Likely going to be possibly seeing some squall lines and QLCS with these incoming cold fronts. So that's what we have right now. That yellow color is it's not 100% likely, but there is a chance we can possibly have an enhanced risk be added if we still have that chance for strong cap, of course, and continue to see that moisture in the Gulf continuing to strengthen as well. So that's what we're looking at there in the day 3 outlook. So what to wait until tomorrow to look at the next update. Now we'll be looking at the NAM3KM model here on the GFS. So here we have by later into Monday, May 4th. This is when we start to see that severe weather ramping up and beginning. That's going to be in the northern plains and the general western United States in the vicinity of Wyoming and Colorado. So we'll finally see our first kind of severe weather for Colorado. Won't be too bad. As you saw, we only have a marginal, but we can be seeing some very strong bands throughout areas into Nebraska, also into the Dakotas. We can be seeing some very strong heavy rain, downpours likely, maybe even flash flood of watches. As we continue on to Monday, May 4th, in the next 48 hours here, so around in the afternoon hours, we're going to be seeing more of just a heavy rain threat throughout these north central plains. So it's going to be mainly a flooding threat and not necessarily going to be seeing, of course, a tornado threat, hail threat, or really wind threat whatsoever here, just general heavy rain. As we get later into, of course, Monday, May 4th, we start to see some severe weather developing now to the Kansas area. That's where possibly see those very high Cape values producing those really strong pop-up storms, and that's where we'll probably see that severe weather starting to ramp up. So by May 4th, getting closer to May 5th, we'll be seeing a defined low pressure system here. We're going to be seeing that Gulf moisture spilling out as well. And we're going to be seeing some very strong pop-up storms into areas into southern, southeastern Missouri. And then we'll have multiple more bands developing now into the overnight hours and early Tuesday morning. So this could be an overnight threat. We'll see very strong linear lines developing all the way from Oklahoma into the Illinois border with Missouri. Jefferson City, you guys will be seeing some very strong pop-up storms. This will be heading towards the Poplar Bluff area, and very strong bands developing near the Lawton, Oklahoma, with closer to the border with Texas. And we'll see these very strong bands, pop bands across much of now northeastern Oklahoma, maybe impacting Oklahoma City, Tulsa. And then seeing those other smaller bands there as well, moving to crossing the Mississippi River there, and we'll possibly see more and more pop-up storms developing to Colorado and parts of the western United States, and we still have yet to finish with the first band. So likely we're going to be seeing multiple waves with pop-up severe weather bands. That's going to be as you see, we are seeing a very strong, very powerful warm front throughout these areas in the South Central at this point. We will possibly see our first triple digits in areas like Oklahoma, getting closer to Kansas. So we're going to be seeing overday heating, plus we have the incoming cold front, so that's going to be perfect for squall lines to develop and QLCS, because squall lines I don't think they can necessarily really form on warm front. So this is a kind of perfect area, except we're not seeing a ton of wind shear, mostly straight line winds. Not going to be seeing a huge dip in the low-level jet, but we will talk about that later, maybe tomorrow. But that's where we're looking at the NAM3KM model. Now for the general European, I want to take another look at this general European radar, so you guys can actually see exactly where we've seen the severe weather and how many waves we'll possibly be seeing here, just on a general radar, not just details. So as you see, isobars will be possibly very close, so we'll possibly still seeing some very strong straight line winds in these areas. That's going to be another threat here. But it looks like our main area of severe weather developing onto May 4th will be areas into Nebraska, Kansas, and Colorado. We'll possibly seeing the worst of that severe weather on Monday, but we'll see that widespread threat for the north central plains, maybe even some pop-up storms across the southern United States. As we now move later into Tuesday, May 5th, we'll see that severe weather now moving east. We're going to bring that threat for Kansas, Oklahoma, Illinois, Iowa, and Missouri. So it looks like a very widespread threat for potential very strong severe weather bands, and then a general area of just incredibly heavy rain. Nothing really major throughout those areas in the Dakotas and Minnesota. Maybe see a thunder or hear a thunder or two. Then we have that second wave on Tuesday. And that's going to be a huge area of extremely heavy rain now for northeastern Oklahoma, northwestern Arkansas, and continue to see that severe weather threat now for southern Illinois, southeastern Missouri, and parts of western Kentucky. So we're going to be seeing another widespread potential threat on Tuesday, and then Wednesday the severe weather threat now moves to the east, and now so that means on Wednesday, May 6th, we'll see that severe weather threat now for the southeast and parts of the south central. So a multi-day threat and a multi-region threat as well. Pivotal weather radar is also not really showing much as well. So as you see, by May 4th, here we see that first severe weather developing here throughout the Dakotas, parts of Nebraska and Colorado, and here you have the defined low pressure system there at 1,003 millibars. As we now move later into Tuesday, continuing over the day, we'll be seeing these pop-up storms now developing throughout Oklahoma. Here we're going to be seeing this really strong Gulf moisture spilling out here, and then we'll be seeing that low pressure system right over the panhandle of Texas. That's definitely strengthened these pop-up storms, and here we have a defined low pressure system as well right over South Dakota. That's also going to strengthen these bands a little bit now for areas near Aberdeen, heading towards Minnesota, but that won't really be a huge threat there. And then by once again May 5th, so Tuesday, the next day, we have another band, another wave. That's going to be for southwestern Missouri and northeastern Oklahoma. Here you see we possibly have a really strong wind shear, though. Wind shear is going to be a really strong threat coming from the west. You're going to be seeing these ice bars very, very closely, and then you're going to be seeing also very powerful winds, southerly winds this time. So it looks like we're definitely seeing a lot of wind shear these areas, but it's not going to be a huge low-level jet like we saw last week. We'll just be seeing a huge straight-line wind of just an incredibly strong wind shear. So that could possibly be a factor as well to the severe weather with multiple waves, and then it does bring that severe weather threat for the southeast and south central by May 6th. Now we'll be looking at the GFS, really Cape Valleys as well on the GFS model here and on tropical tidbits. So by May 4th, here we start to see these very high numbers already. So we're going to be seeing this incoming moisture and energy already in the atmosphere. So we're going to be seeing possibly around 4,000 to 4,400 joules per kilogram across areas in Texas and Oklahoma. We're going to be seeing a high amount of energy here. Let's go ahead and check out and see exactly how much energy. So we're using around 5,200 joules per kilogram. That's actually very, very high. So definitely likely for some very strong bands with all this energy. Multiple pop-up bands will be developing there. And as we now move later on into closer into now more into Monday and then Tuesday morning, we see this energy once again strengthening. As you tell, this amount of energy is going to be strengthening and also strengthening and becoming a bit more widespread in this area of focus, including Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, and Oklahoma. So we're going to be seeing these higher Cape Valleys here, especially right over Oklahoma. You're going to be seeing this moisture coming in, so you're going to be seeing this flow, and then we'll be seeing another high area of Cape Valleys, potentially bringing that also severe weather threat throughout the south central, but definitely be seeing some very high numbers throughout amount of really high Cape Valleys, 5,000 joules per kilogram here. Definitely be seeing a lot of shear as well, up to 32 knots in these areas. So definitely be seeing a lot of shear. And then by Wednesday, this amount of Cape does kind of disappear, so seeing very little energy, but maybe we have another potential threat by maybe May 7th, May 8th, and possibly May 9th. Now we're going to be looking at the Cape values here and looking at CAP as well on here on the pivotal weather. So by May 4th, we're already seeing a ton of energy already out here into the south central. So this is why it's going to be so easy to be this strong severe weather, because all the moisture is going to be already set in place throughout Oklahoma and Texas. So we're going to be seeing very high Cape Valley. Going to be seeing these 4,000s right here. So it's not going to be incredibly impressive, but we're still going to be seeing some very strong severe weather bands. So it looks like CAP isn't incredibly strong here, but we do have the potential, maybe likely, maybe for some EF3s, EF2, threat, EF1 to EF3 of tornadoes are likely in these areas if there is that threat, and then areas into where we have 4,500 joules per kilogram. That's where we see a bit more energy. As you can see, we have that marginal threat for tornadoes, and if we do have a tornado, it would be more like an EF2, EF1, or an EF0. And like I said, right here on Monday, the cap isn't going to be strong, of course, because severe weather is going to be more in these areas. But as we now move closer into now May 4th, later in the day, that's when we have that flow energy once again. This area open window for Oklahoma and northern Texas now going to be seeing around these higher 3,000s in these areas. And look at now May 5th. This is incredibly high to Cape values, up to 5,300 joules per kilogram. And look at this, possible hazard is now a tornado, and we're seeing very, very strong amounts of cap here. We're going to be possibly that EF4 plus threat for tornadoes. Look at this, Cape values, 5,600 joules per kilogram. It's absolutely crazy. So very likely for obviously significant hail, so around 2.75 inch size hail, and it looks like that threat as well for supercells. But definitely really high amounts or strong cap. So if it obviously breaks, that'll be the area of focus. If this cap does break, definitely going to be seeing that area of focus for northern Oklahoma, and we're going to be seeing these other higher areas with some 4,000 joules per kilogram. This is absolutely crazy. 5,200 joules per kilogram. We're going to be seeing around a 7 right here on this area of SCP. So definitely some strong cap. Obviously, it's very likely for an EF3 or EF4 plus tornado if there's one, and it looks like significant hail. And then, oh my gosh, I hate when this happens. And then as we now move after, so that's going to be May 5th in the morning. So that's when we see that severe weather really ramping up. But as we now move later on in the day, these K values do really kind of lower, and it does obviously not going to be a huge all-day threat for these really strong amounts of cap. So if cap does not break, it could most likely be not a severe weather outbreak. Maybe being just, I want to say it's not going to be like, it's not going to really play out how really severe weather outbreak will be. It'll be very weak and just scattered discrete cells. So not likely if this cap does not break, then it'll possibly be a bust if it does not break. So we're going to go ahead and looking at the SCP, so supercell composite parameter, seeing this percent or just risk for seeing supercells in these areas. Really anything higher than a 20 is considered high. So by May 4th, we're already seeing around areas around 16, 14. So it's around a moderate amount of numbers. And then numbers kind of by May 5th, that's when they get a bit higher now. So, of course, it looks like Monday in the morning, or sorry, it looks like early Tuesday morning is going to be our area of focus, where we see, of course, 5,300 joules per kilogram, or 5,300 plus joules per kilogram, and also going to be seeing some higher areas for SCP. So we're going to be seeing already now these areas at 31 on the SCP, which acts almost a guaranteed for some supercells. So it's very, very likely we're going to be seeing, obviously, supercells, QLCSs and all that. Let's go ahead and check out the regions, though. We can actually get a close-up look here as well. So let's go ahead and get now to the area that risk getting in here. We had that Cape values, sorry, the SCP, and then here by May 5th, that is when we see these numbers getting a lot higher. Going to be seeing now 31 on this SCP. That's really, really high. So as you see, we're going to be seeing that chance for maybe EF3s and EF4 tornadoes. Very likely for a tornado on that threat, and it looks like cap is still maintaining on the stronger side here, but looks like we could be seeing that significant threat for supercells. And then as we now move later on into Tuesday, this number does go down drastically, only seeing some teens, and then it does die down by later May 5th. So it's going to be seeing that one time frame, that one area during the day where we have that huge severe weather risk, and then just completely dies down there. So that's what we're looking at on the that SCP. Let's maybe go ahead and check out this bulk shear really quick just to see the timing, and all of it adds up with the shear. So let's go ahead and check out the amount of shear we're going to be seeing by really Tuesday morning. So by Tuesday morning here, this is actually now Monday evening. So we're going to be seeing a decent amount of wind shear here on Monday in the Monday evening. There's going to be seeing a decent amount of wind shear. It's not going to be impressive. Definitely be seeing some very strong straight line winds. Going to be seeing around these higher 60 knots there. And as we now get closer into now Monday, very late in the night, this wind shear obviously does strengthen a lot more. Oops, I did not mean to do that. It does strengthen a lot more though throughout these areas, especially throughout the areas into the Midwest. Definitely seeing these this shear definitely strengthening. Then by the fifth in the morning, we are seeing a bit more stronger shear in these areas like Oklahoma, Missouri, and Kansas, where we do see these numbers adding up. So I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and everybody stay safe.